Hello everyone, welcome back to TouchTheFireTwice. I'm Joshua and I'm here today to do an in-depth sniff comparison review of the 14.5 ounce Bath & Body Works Spring Has Sprung candle from the Spring 2022 collection. I will say right off the bat, Spring 2022 at Bath & Body Works really has been disappointing. Typically they always post some annual sale, will launch sort of a tropical getaway collection. Not my thing, I want to keep that for the summer, but I understand that that's where they kind of go, and then they'll come into doing maybe a bakery collection and sort of a spring florals collection, maybe a market collection with some other, fruits and things like that, botanical blends. But this year, it's just been primarily, they have a few florals thrown in here and there. There was some bakery, and it's just been a kind of returning mix of, I don't even want to say favorites, just a returning scents that are hit or miss. The banana bundt cake and so many of the scents. First of all, so many of the scents lean summer, even though they're part of spring releases. But the banana bundt cake, the raspberry and whipped vanilla, and so many of them, and the confectionery collection, I just didn't really care for so many of them. And even the florals, like there are a handful of florals, but not a true cohesive florals collection. So I've been really underwhelmed. In fact, when there was the candle sale, I was in an area where last week there was a $12.95 candle sale, which I guess was a test because most of the country was in sort of a 10 off whatever promotion. And I went in the store and I could only scrounge together, honestly, 2 candles to purchase. And that was an Island Margarita, which I won't burn until the summer. And I haven't burned for a couple of years, but I was like, well, okay, it's an old throwback. I could kind of get into it. It's fine. It's generic. It's sweet. It's nice. It's inoffensive. And then this one here, which is, I'll say right off the bat, not a must-have. It's a nice to have and okay to have, but I couldn't figure out anything else that I wanted. From all of the strawberry daiquiris and that sort of shiny metallic tropicals collection, they're all just, they smell kind of the same and very artificial to me and not particularly bright or juicy or refreshing. They're just like cheap smelling to me. So I'm really disappointed in that. But I grabbed this one because I do like this. I haven't burned it yet, so I'll start off about this is not a post-burn review, as I've been doing more of those recently where I show you the footage of what the burn looked like. This is sort of just that cold blind sniff, if you want to call it that. But it did sort of awaken, it made my nose twitch in the sense of this smells familiar. Now, I will say it is not a repackage, it's not a straight up duplicate of a past scent from Bath & Body Works or Slatkin Co, but it is quite reminiscent of a few. And so I'll do my sniff of this, and then I've got 4 candles here, actually all from the Slatkin era at Bath & Body Works to compare, where it's a little of this, a little of that, kind of witch's cauldron mixture of these 4 scents, which is really nice, which leads this to be quite nice as well. Again, this is a scent that is reminiscent of sort of the heyday of Bath & Body Works candles for me. But yeah, the rest of the spring, disappointing. Like, where is a spa collection? Where is a fresh market collection with some floral? Like, look back to 2012, 2013, even some others beyond then, like a farmer's market or a farm stand collection where you've got some berries and some, spring fruits and some citruses and maybe some teas and some blends that are a little bit of herbals mixed with that, a true floral collection where you have a couple of straight up florals, then you have some conceptual, florals that are a garden party or a garden bouquet or first bloom or so many things. And they just, I feel like they're in a either weird spot of lack of creativity or really playing to the safest of safe bets as they're, making record profits. So their sales are there, their revenue is there, but they're really just going too, like sales market analytical and like almost like artificial intelligence saying, okay, if this is what people like, this and this, these sell, let's put this together and we'll sell this. And it's just, it doesn't have the art behind it. It's really just like the marketing science of it versus the art of fragrance, which is what I think we're all here for, right? So that's just my, soapbox moment of my amateur assessment of Bath & Body Works' current home fragrance department and product design and development. But spring has sprung. So notes on this one are Easter lilies, dew-covered grass, and early spring air. Again, early spring air doesn't tell you a whole lot. That's an accord. Could be full of many different things, right? Packaging on this. I'm one that doesn't mind a simple packaging, but if you're gonna go for a frosted white and black, fine. The cartoony hand-drawn flowers don't match that. Either go bright and colorful and springy and cutesy with this kind of cartoony design, or go modern, fresh, bold, if you're gonna do simply black, white, and gold as a spring candle. So honestly, a miss and a miss on both angles there, but it was the only packaging it was in, and it was worth purchasing, at least to sniff and review for you guys. And I think I will enjoy burning it if the performance is there. But your traditional creamy white wax. Spring has sprung. The name works. It is one of your grassy, dewy, sweet-ish, like mid-sweet, but floral, some white florals, some spring florals, a little bit of greenness in there, but not a lot. Certainly dewy florals, dewy blossoms, an undercoating of some greens, but not particularly astringent or, grassy greens, or like the bitter, kind of greens you sometimes will get. I like this because it is a spring floral. It's not a summer floral. It's not your hot honeysuckles or, magnolias or anything that leans too warm or tropical. Grassy, it is fresh. It's like a fresh floral. Like it's like half fresh towards, your island cottons and, all the new those linen collections they're doing now, the laundry stuff, without being a laundry scent, thankfully, because I'm not a big fan for most of those. A little bit of a sparkling, probably a bit of a sparkling citrus in there, though it's not primary at all, and it's not even listed in the notes, unless you think maybe there's some citrus in spring air. But yeah, it is a fresh interpretation of a spring floral, but not specifically, your hyacinths or your hydrangeas or something. It's kind of that, and not really even like daffodil tulip freshness, which we sometimes get. Kind of just a hodgepodge of, did they say jasmine? I feel like there's probably some jasmine. Easter lilies, okay, that works. I think that's probably more in timing of, they knew this was coming out around Easter, so they called them Easter lilies. Lily, maybe a little bit of jasmine in there. Some sweet, not quite powdery, but sweet borderline powdery florals is what I get from that. Comparing that to, I'll just go right off the bat. I sometimes will say this and then this and then this and then this. This will just give you the kind of headline of the four that I'm going to compare it to, because it really is not particularly close to any of these, but it really is a combination of these. So first up, we've got Seashore. This was Slatkin Co Seashore from the Boardwalk original release. Green Grass, this was the 2012 that came out before then. Slatkin Co from Spring Collections. Beach Grass, which was part of the original Boardwalk collection, though this was the 2019 re-release, but was originally Slatkin Co sent from that Boardwalk collection. And then Spring, which honestly, if they want to do Spring and Sprung, why not just bring back the scent from the vaults that's called Spring that was popular and worked and sold? I don't know. Anyhow, I'll do that as the first comparison because, again, that's like the most direct. But just look at the difference. I mean, if you saw both these on a shelf, first of all, which one do you like better? And which one would you think is, okay, that reminds me of spring? I would think it's, this purple flower with the green wax and just a dewdrops there and a clean spring label versus some little flowers that are nondescript, whatever. Notes on spring, like a dream of walking in a lush garden with tulips in full bloom, sweet apple blossoms, yellow daisies, and daffodils. So spring was floral, 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 but it is the early ones. And again, with the tulips, the daisies, the daffodils, you're talking spring. This one is very round and dewy. It is fresh, but it almost leans to some of the florals you get from like the fresh bamboo candle, where it's like almost like, I don't know, ripping into like aloe. It's like it's almost like a viscous thickness to the florals and the dew. Leans very much, and like you've got your nose up into a flower, like you're smelling all of the almost like the pollen and things in the flower, like you're getting deep in there. And this gives it a little bit of almost a little bit of an astringency to it. Not like a fresh cut grass astringency, but like it's fresh flowers. This is much sweeter than spring. But this is more, I think, authentically early florals. Okay. Then we move over to beach grass. Got some notes matching here. So we've got morning dew, rain-soaked greens, and white freesia. I feel like freesia and lilies and jasmine, obviously they're different scents. Their high-end fragrance would be very particular with which one they want to use. For me, they're kind of in the same family, at least at Bath & Body Works, maybe in other places as well. They're in that same family as far as they can be somewhat interchangeable as far as the vibe that they all will bring to to a fragrance. Now beach grass, that is a good candle. Similar as far as the softness, the soft level of the floral, like this is a softer floral than Spring, which is similar to the Spring has Sprung floral. But this is a bit more sweet, I wanna say. Yeah, this has got more of the intensity of the powdery florals. This is a sweet, dewy, grassy with some of the softness of the florals. Then we go to Seashore, right here, again, that little Seashore. This was from 2012. This was crisp water lotus, bright citrus, salt, and a touch of salt water in the air. So, and I believe this one actually did come out a few times after the original release as Renew and Refresh, like White Bar number 2, Renew and Refresh, or White Bar number 3, Renew and Refresh. And may actually still be in Wallflowers, I believe, as Renew and Refresh. Definitely more of the water lotus. Again, leans a little bit towards some of the fresh bamboo, because I believe there's water lotus and fresh bamboo. More aquatic, which is Seashore, that makes sense, that it's gonna be more aquatic. But again, similar, these are similar styles where you're getting some greenery, you're getting that dewiness, which is on the greens and the flowers, and you're getting a soft floral with a little hint of powder, a little bit of sweetness, but not particularly dry or summer at all. And then finally, we've got green grass, which I think it may be the most similar to, though, again, not direct. This is shaded grass on a warm, sunny day, dewy greens, Meyer lemon, infused with lily of the valley and a touch of jasmine. Also, I think makes sense when we're thinking of some notes. Can't always trust the notes on, especially on more recent Bath & Body Works candles, because it is gonna lean towards the marketing and gonna leave out things that will potentially turn people off. And they'll just let it be in there without telling people what's in there. Yeah, these are quite similar, except green grass is more, as the name says, more grassy, and maybe a little bit more of that citrus of that Meyer lemon, which adds a brightness to it. This is a little bit more powdery, laundry florals, versus this is a little bit more of a fresh, authentic interpretation. But again, very much in line with that grassy, dewy, soft spring floral, right? So all told, what does that all mean? Goodness. It's kind of like a mixture of spring and maybe the green grass. They're similar to the green grass, kind of like those daisy scents. You know, could be daisies, could be daffodils. A little bit powdery. There's the sweetness. I don't think lilies are particularly sweet, but there is a sweetness in here that I'm not sure exactly where that comes from. Again, could be some of the citrus playing with that. But if you're into sort of spring florals that lean, conceptual in the sense that they're not like, Homeworks, Garden Blooms candle, or the flower shop from back in the day here that is literally like you are holding a bunch of flowers with the greens in your hands. This one is a little bit more powdery, soft, a little bit of warmth to it, with some dewiness and some version of greens, a little bit grasses in there, and making it not quite aquatic, but making it softer. Again, leaning toward, if I had to categorize, almost towards sort of some of your like laundry scents, especially kind of the ones that they have now at Bath & Body Works. This could have been released in that collection with, spring laundry, and it would have totally fit the marketing. So I do like it. I'll burn it. Again, not as good as most of the previous releases here because it is, again, just a mishmash a bit. But I think probably if the performance is good enough, it is worth buying because there's not much else at Bath & Body Works that I would consider true spring floral other than some of your old standards like your fresh lilac. That's going to be such a spring floral. But this is one that works for those who do like that softer, dewy, spring morning, spring afternoon. So that is it for this time. Let me know what you think of this, or if there are any of the other ones, or kind of what your thoughts are on spring 2022 at Bath & Body Works in general, what you have been happy with, if you're happy with it, what you think is missing. I would love to hear your thoughts as we talk through our passion here. And until next time, take care.